Good evening, everybody. Sean here. It's another Sunday night poetry coming to you from the basement dojo here in Calgary, Alberta. Went for a walk today, nice long walk. Beautiful and warm out in the sunshine. And then after dinner, went to the rink. And let me tell you, when the sun went down, whew, got cold. I wasn't quite dressed enough. My ears were pretty frickin' cold out there. I had to triple up my buff and put it on my ears. Anyways, we're here to talk a little poetry. And again, we're kind of working through our book of Frank O'Hara. This one's called Why I Am Not a Painter. I am not a painter. I am a poet. Why? I think I would rather be a painter, but I am not. Well, for instance, Mike Goldberg is starting a painting. I drop in. Sit down and have a drink, he says. I drink. We drink. I look up. It has sardine. You have sardines in it. Yes, it needed something there. Oh. I go, and the days go by, and I drop in again. The painting is going on, and I go. The painting is finished. Where's sardines? All that's left is just letters. It was too much, Mike says. But me? One day I am thinking of a color, orange. I write a line about orange. Pretty soon it is a whole page of words, not lines, then another page. There should be so much more, not of orange, of words, of how terrible orange is and life. Days go by. It is even in prose. I'm a real poet. My poem is finished, and I haven't mentioned orange yet. It's 12 poems. I call it Oranges. And one day, in a gallery, I see Mike's painting called Sardines. So, what do you get from that poem? What does it make you feel? What are you thinking? I use a really simple test, and this is something that my film prof told us years ago. When was that? Fall of 2001. Malek Corey. Yeah, I think he's still teaching at U of C. What he told us is the number one way to tell if a movie is good or not is by the way you feel when you're done watching it. It's so incredibly simple. You know, there's a million and one ways you can break these things down and look at the meter of a poem or the mise en scène in a film or what have you. But at the end of the day, how do you feel after having read it, or how do you feel after having watched it? So I use that very simple filter to evaluate all sorts of art, books, movies, poems. And so I invite you to give it a try. How do you feel after you've watched a movie or a poem? Was it a slog? Do you feel flat? Are you depressed? Are you happy? Do you want to go travel? Do you want to fall in love? So, anyway, that's just a sort of test I apply. And I think of this poem, it has a nice light feeling to it, comedic. It also sort of, Frank O'Hara was pretty up to speed on art. I think he worked at the Museum of Modern Art, and he hung out with all sorts of these guys like, I think Jackson Pollock, if memory serves, and that crew of guys in New York at the time, and gals. I just love it. There's a sense of humor. You know, there's literal sardines in the painting as some sort of impasto or some sort of essentially prop. And then they're gone, but the painting's called Sardines. And his poem doesn't talk about orange at all. It's this sort of orange mood. It turns into 12 poems, and it's called Oranges. So there's obviously a certain sense of irony and humor there, which I really appreciate. And yet it's a fairly interesting description of the creative process too, isn't it? We'll write a line about orange. Pretty soon there's a whole page of words, not lines. There should be so much more, not of orange, not of words, of how terrible orange is and life. It is even in prose, I am a real poet. Right? Anyways, beautiful sort of literature joke there. So that's the Frank O'Hara for this week. And here we have our random Basho. Flip, 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 flip. Eyes are shut. Flip. Okay, good. In the utter darkness of a moonless night, a powerful wind embraces the ancient cedar trees. I'll leave you with that one. Drop me a line in the comments how that poem made you feel, or the one before it by Frank O'Hara. And I look forward to talking with you next week. Have a great week. In the meantime, read some poetry, watch some good movies, do some good work, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.